Guys, welcome to opening night. It's October 20th. We got the Wizards tonight, and I'm hoping that as a learning team, we're going to be going. We can hope for 5-5. That would make us 4-1 at home in the first 10 games, and that's even if we go 0-4 on the road. So that leaves us 5-5 after 10. It'd be great to do better. Both of our teams tonight are teams learning one another, and that can't be more true than any other team than the Washington Wizards. That has to do with the fact that their team, and we got the roster listed here, that their team literally got revamped in a massive 5-team trade. They saw basically Westbrook and young Isaiah Jackson, who they picked with the Lakers pick and then sent off to the Pacers, go out. And in return, they got Nets second rounder Isaiah Todd, who was highly touted, Spencer Dinwiddie, Kyle Kuzma, Caldwell Pope, Montrezl Harrell, and Aaron Holiday from the Pacers. So this entire trade changes their entire lineup. And I've spoken to a few of you in chat about the idea that the Raptors are learning their team, so are the Washington Wizards. One of the reasons they're also this team in flux is not just this trade, but they also had their head coach leave the team. So before I get into the Wizards team, I want to talk about a video that I was going to make that I don't have to make. The reason I don't have to make that video is because Raptors fan YouTubers are the best in the league. And Raptors Report released their weekly video, literally reading the minds of a lot of Raptors fans who are watching content talking about bringing in a traditional big man. And the response to that, I couldn't have put it any better. Raptors Report does an amazing job just talking about tactics, plays, everything. So shout out Raptors Report. Guys, the little image you see here in the bottom corner explains, I've added it to my playlist on my channel. It's right at the top, second from the top. You should absolutely watch it. And also Raptors Report, shout out to the graphic with Gollum holding Precious. It is outstanding. I think a lot of us have had that in our mind ever since we heard his name in the draft last year. If you haven't watched this video, then you are going to constantly be conflicted about the Raptors' chances this year. You have to see this video. It's available if you go back to my channel, into the playlist, into the fan content. It's right second from the top. Okay, so for X's and O's for tonight, watch for the following. Not only are we going to be running these strategies where we're fronting the big men, double blitzing the ball carrier and attacking the ball carrier, we're looking to cough stuff up using our long arm monsters, right? Like what we're going to be doing is really putting pressure on the ball and causing them, the opposing team, to want to move the ball quickly. And we're going to bait them. We're going to tempt them to bring the ball inside. And then we're going to try and steal the ball with these long arms and deflect passes and everything else. And that's where we're strong. We're not strong shooting. We're strong in transition. Every guy on the team can handle the ball, take it in transition, make good passes, and we can attack. As Raptors Report says, the only shot better than a corner three is a layup. So if you get out in transition, move the ball well, that opposing big, the traditional big on the other team, the Gaffords and the Bryants, can't get back, and we get layups. So look for the Raptors to be baiting these inside passes into the paint and looking to go the other way after a turnover. Also, look for the Raptors to crash the offensive glass. It's something they were practicing in preseason. It's the entire reason we signed Justin Champagnie. He is an offensive glass specialist. That's why we signed him to a two-way immediately after the draft. It's another reason Bongo was retained, is he was strong in that department. What we're looking to do is the other team has some traditional guards. We have all these high guys. So instead of running a 7-footer, one guy out of 5, we're running 5 guys that are tall, athletic, and long, and we're going to be looking to out-leap them. Who gets the rebound? 7'3" Porzingis that can't jump? Or our 6'9" guys with 7-foot wingspans that leap into the air? And all we need to do is keep tipping the ball in the air, and eventually we win that ball. So the Raptors are not looking to necessarily even come down with the ball right away on offensive or defensive glass. We're just looking to keep tipping it up. So look for this all season. These are the things we're working on. So not only did the Wizards change because of a massive trade that sent Westbrook and new draft pick Isaiah Jackson out, and Chandler Hutchison to the Spurs, by the way. Big pickup for the Spurs. That's a sleeper waiver pick. They drafted this year Corey Kispert, who last year they got Denny Avdia out of Israel. I'm saying his name wrong. And then prior to that, they got Rui. This is going to be a big year for Rui. They had a kind of crappy season last year. They managed to get in the play-in, as we all know. And then they got ousted in the first round by Philly. So they let Scott Brooks go, and instead they brought back longtime Wizards assistant coach, Wes Unseld Jr. Now, Unseld Jr. just spent a whole bunch of time with Denver, who, as we all know, is a very powerful team in the West. And they've done a great job of taking a whole bunch of young talent, combining them with vets, developing their own players. Don't forget where Masai came from, right? Denver. Unseld Jr. comes in. His father's a Hall of Fame player, coach, and executive. So Unseld Jr. has great pedigree. He knows the game of basketball. He's brought in to literally decide which players on this team are going to be staying and which ones are going. The Wizards are an interesting team because not only did they bring in a whole bunch of players, but they also have all these young assets. So what you need to look for the Wizards to do this year is to use some of those smaller assets, and the Wizards this season can leap past us and other teams that are knocking on the door, like the Pacers, the Bulls, those kind of teams. I think we're all grouped up in terms of competitiveness, leap past us by sending out some of these young assets. If they can make a trade to bring in a big player that can put them over the top or two, the Wizards can be challenging for that 6, 7, 8 spot in the East and really pushing teams like Philly, Celtics. Like, I feel like if the Celtics young guys don't take a step, the Celtics could fall. So the Wizards are one of those teams that have not only the veteran talent, but they have the assets to make a push in the East before the trade deadline. Problem is, their team needs to gel first. All right, so let's take a look at the Wizards roster. Okay, we got Beal, obviously. We got Dinwiddie coming in. We got Davis Bertans coming off the bench, and he's a massive shooter. Kuzma, Harrell. We got Thomas Bryant and Gafford, both great young players. Rui Hachimura, Denny Avdia, Aaron Holiday, Kispert, and then you got veteran point guard that came in from Philly last year, Raul Neto, Isaiah Todd, the youngster, and then they've got their two-way guys here. So look for them to score. That's one thing the Wizards already do well. Look for them to have high turnovers, which plays into our hands. So we're going to have to keep pace with them tonight. Enjoy the game tonight. Look for the opposing bigs, Bryant and Gafford, to have a pretty good game if the Wizards can manage to get the ball in the paint. And don't forget, we're going to be giving them those 2-pointers. We're going to be daring them to get the ball into the paint and go for these 2-pointers. We're just not going to allow open threes. And look for the Raptors to also turn over those passes and drives into the paint and go the other way and score in transition. And if we can't score in transition, we're going to be looking to use pick and rolls and dribble drives and create open shots that way. We're going to keep the ball in their zone as much as we can, crashing the glass. We're going to allow them to get an easy dunk on transition the other way for 2 points, but we're going to make sure that the 2 points that they get, we're after a 6-point run that we get crashing the offensive glass. That's the 2021-2022 Raptors. Enjoy the game tonight, guys, and thanks for your support. It's all about the Larrys. Kawhi, can you stop watching Squid Games? I want to watch my stories.
I don't even know where you're sitting at.
That's bullshit, Kawhi. You're laughing
This
stupid.
is Chef's Kiss approved. Mwah!